And this segment is brought to you by DraftKings Sportsbook, America's top-rated sportsbooking app. Not only are they the top, but they're safe, they're secure, but more importantly, reliable, because we know reliability is key, right? It's very, very key. But the thing that we're loving about DraftKings right now is the fact that, man, if you are a first-time user, which, I mean, if you are a first-time user, where have you been? Have you been living under a rock? It's neither here nor there, because me and Deke, we're not first-time users. But if you are a first-time user, make sure you use the promo code Moats, because you will receive up to $1,000 in deposit bonus. And I mean, who doesn't like free money when you sign up for something, right? You like free money, right?
Yeah, free money is nice. And then also, especially when you're getting free money and having a good time playing fantasy sports or betting on the sportsbook.
Can't go wrong with that at all, man. So that's what DraftKings is offering, man. So make sure, if you haven't downloaded their app, make sure you download the app DraftKings Sportsbook and also their fantasy football app as well. And make sure you use the promo code Moats. In terms of why the media looks down on the Steelers, I think it's changing now after this performance. But me and you talked about this last week. We said that typically the Steelers, even though they've been winning, they haven't been winning with the style points that some of these other teams have won with. Not saying that makes them better or worse. I think it was just viewed differently in terms of they shouldn't have had a close game with the Cowboys. But yesterday, with them handling business against the Bengals the way they did, I do think that people are going to start to talk about them a lot more from a national standpoint, because that's the type of team that they're capable of being. When you see them just dominate from start to finish, that's what you expect the undefeated team to look like. Not to be trailing to a Dallas Cowboys team to the fourth quarter with 2 minutes. That's, to me, is the biggest reason why they hadn't been talked about. But I do think going forward, they will be talked about a lot more.
They could talk, whatever. I mean, you know, my whole thing on this was like, man, what was I saying this in week 3 or week 4?
Yeah, first you were like, don't talk about us. Then it was like,
they can't.
They talked about us, but not enough. And then you picked. I remember the Mina cons you got on her.
Oh man. Well, that's the thing. I'm telling you, dude. Yeah. I haven't watched a shred of sports today, or like any of the sports news or any of the sports debates. I'm trying to stay under the radar as much as I can. So I'm good with them talking about it, whatever. Yeah, I feel like
they are talking, but it's going to be to the point where they're going to talk about it a lot more, not only because of them being undefeated, but because they looked impressive. That's the biggest difference. You got to look impressive for the national guys to talk about it. You know, they only want headlines, man. So they going to bash the teams that got fan base that are going to get riled up, i.e. Steelers, Cowboys. We talk about those type of fan bases. But then also the teams that are winning, where you could just, a casual guy can look and just look at the scoreboard and say, oh man, they scored 36 points. They only allowed this one. Oh, that was that, man. They really good. Like, that's the type of teams that the national media likes to talk about, man.
So yeah, I'm locked in, and I know the Steelers players are locked in. So whatever. I'm not focused on the outside noise right now, because you should have been talking about us since week 3 if this is the case. But because I feel the same way about the team every week I'm coming in. I know maybe it's not always pretty, but dude. Like, we put it together this week, and you could just see glimpses all the way through this. So, I mean, no one else is 9-0 like us.
True.
No one else is 9-0. So, I'm serious, dude.
I'm with you, bro. You know how I feel about the record sometimes. I'm like, I mean, it was a time where the Bears were one of the last undefeated teams, and we all agreed the Bears were absolutely trash. Even though their record said they were undefeated, that's my only reason why I'm just like, I know but that's
but now it's 9. The sample size is way bigger.
I got you on that, but we can still look, and we already did that conversation, so we're not going to go back to there. But in terms of, we're not going to act like all 9 wins look like how I did yesterday. That has not been the case.
No.
And to me, that's why when we talk about, in terms of, I know you feel personally, and I'm sure it's a good amount of people
just from watching the game, you're like, man, there's something here. So I'm not.
Well, no, but
I'm
you
not
also have to remember too is this, man. We are biased. This is, I mean, we're Steeler fans.
What do you mean?
Right, what do we mean? So as Steeler fans, we're a lot more biased. We feel like all our players should get the recognition. All our players should make the Pro Bowl. If we have a good player, he should make the Pro Bowl. But you have to understand that it's 32 other or 31 other teams that feel the exact same way about their players. And I mean, a simple conversation that I had this morning on one of the radio shows we were doing was comeback player of the year. So right now, people in Pittsburgh wanted to be Ben Roethlisberger. Nationally, it's Alex Smith. Because the difference is this. I said with Alex Smith, we talked about how he literally almost lost his life, almost lost his leg, and he's coming back. And I mean, not saying that he's played great, but the fact that he was able to make it back from that is a big deal, right? Whereas with Ben, we understand the elbow surgery, but more so we're like, man, he's still playing great. But when you're comparing an elbow to a dude almost losing his life, it's drastically different. And I compared it to if Ryan Shazier would have ever come back, he could come back and be the absolute worst linebacker in the league. The sheer fact of him being able to come back from the injury that he came back from would win him that award. And we would all be over here singing it. Absolutely, man. I don't care what that other guy did. Ryan Shazier wasn't walking and now he's playing. So that's nationally why Alex Smith is the front runner for that award. Even though if we're just talking about who's playing better, it's not even a debate. Ben is balling out. But because of that narrative, that's why nationally it's viewed differently than how we feel it here in Pittsburgh, man.